puts us at 82, 49, and 8 on the season, hitting at a 62.5% clip.
Back-to-back golden boots. That's 3 in a row for me. 3 too, man. Like, not a dime. That's called being for the people.
It's over! The Columbus Crew, 2023 MLS Cup champions!
Alrighty, welcome in and welcome back, everybody, to Sports Profit TV. This is the MLS Live podcast. I am Cooper, your host, and with me, as always, is Garrett at Just Some Footy on Twitter. Glad to have you back, buddy, after an off week. Off week for us, condensed short match week for Major League Soccer. I think there was only 4 games on Saturday. Was it 5 games or 4?
I think it was 4.
Yeah, so 4 games on Saturday. We talked about it, kind of kicked the can around a little bit and decided it just wasn't worth doing a show. You know, a lot of players missing, only a couple games to pick from. So we took a week off and we're back. Just put out a tweet on MLS Live podcast on Twitter, kind of catching up. I think we're about 50% of the way through the season. So I wanted to kind of stay on top of the business side of things and update the records and everything. We are currently 37-31 straight up. So that's about 54.4%. So we're starting to creep back towards kind of our target. Obviously last year was an incredible season, ended 63.5%. But the good news is we're positive 11.5 units this season. So we're on track. Because of our plus money plays, because of our multi-unit plays. We're 4-3 on 2-unit plays, and we're a perfect 2-0 on 3-unit plays. So, anytime you're sweeping the big ones, which is 3 units, that's as big as we go here. Anytime you're doing that, you're gonna be in a pretty good position. 17 through 17 weeks. This is week 19 for us. So, through 19 weeks of the season, we've only had 2 3-unit plays. That just goes to show you we're not just throwing them out there to throw them out. Those are special opportunities that we feel really good.
Lock of the years here.
Yeah, we were really, at least we won't publish them that way, right? But I'm kidding. Yeah, we don't throw around lingo like that. But 3 units, that's as big as we go. They've been fantastic last year and this year both. So we'll look to keep that going. And, like we just said, up almost 12 units about halfway through the year. We're on track.
Man. You can't ask for much more.
Yeah. And for those of you guys that are tuning in now, jump in the chat. And you guys will likely end up with some nice closing line value, as most of our early week viewers do. And we'll get to it.
All right, subscribe.
Yes, like and subscribe. I even had that written in my notes, and I once again failed to get it out of my mouth. But Odds Jam, that's a sponsor of the show. They do Plus EV tools. They do a couple other betting tools. Really good stuff. They also do arbitrage, which is one of the best arbitrage tools I've seen. They do live arbitrage betting as well. You can get as high as 15-20% guaranteed returns if you are loaded up on the right sports books. So if you're interested in that, use my promo code. It's PROF35 for 35% off. The link of that is in the description. And let's get into it. There's the promo. All right, first game on the docket. Got New York Red Bull at home, playing host to your team, Nashville SC. And this is also this is going to be your play.
Yep, New York Red Bulls hosting Nashville. Going to take the under 2.5 here at -112. It seems kind of chalkish to me, but you give me the best home defense in the league at 5.42 expected goals against for the Red Bulls. That is through 7 games. So less than a goal a game is what they are expected to concede when at home. And then no team has conceded less goals since early May than Nashville. And that coincides with Zimmerman coming back from injury. So during that run, you've got 4 clean sheets through those 7 games. And Zimmerman will be back this weekend. The under 23s are all going to be back because the Olympics don't kick off till July. So I expect him to be back and in the lineup. Red Bulls, you're missing some big names. Cornell, the goalkeeper for Copa America, and then you got Forsberg and Lewis Morgan in the Euros. So New York Red Bulls, they're missing some playmakers there. Nashville, Godoy is probably going to be called up. Schaffelberg to Canada, Shaq Moore to the U.S. for Copa. So they're going to miss some speed on the wings. Some of that midfield creativity isn't the right word because Nashville doesn't have a creative midfield, but Godoy has been a solid staple in that midfield. And so I just don't think there's going to be a lot of creation here between these two teams. Both defenses are stout right now. And so this just seems like a great line with that juice to get it at under 2.5.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the big deal is no Lewis Morgan, no Forsberg for the home team, because those two guys they've been the attack. I mean, that's such a drastic difference missing those two. They've been the best two players for the attack for New York Red Bull this season. So that's always nice. We know about Red Bull's defensive pedigree, so that's always something you can pretty much rely on. I was just looking at Nashville's last game, first game without Gary at the reins, and they created a lot of chances. Obviously, that was at home, and that was against New England, who is pretty much bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, that was I think it was like his third game in charge, and
Okay.
the attack has looked better, but Nashville are just missing creative pieces. The wing play is not creative. You're not going to stretch that team and expand the field. Everything's going through the middle with Hanny, and teams know that, which is part of the reason why Hanny is struggling this season, is that you can just lock him down in the midfield, and there's no outlets. There's no overlaps really of any kind of value. So, yeah, it's just they are playing, I think, a slightly better type of soccer and attack, but it's still that they just lack talent on that offensive end after Hanny. Surridge is okay. I don't think he's earning the paycheck yet. So, but I don't expect him to be great until they start getting better wing play. Like I'm not a Jacob Schaffelberg fan. Tyler Boyd's been disappointed since coming over. There's just not a lot of wing play there. Not a lot. There's like none. So yeah, they're going to struggle in the attack still, no matter who is in charge.
Yeah, just kind of a lack of weapons, and a good point about they're going to be down some speed without Schaffelberg and Fafa. So yeah, like you said, feels kind of straightforward, but that doesn't mean that it's a bad look. So let's get a snoozer to start the card. All right, on to the next one. FC Dallas and St. Louis City FC. FC Dallas just made a coaching change. Nico Estevez is out, promoted from within, so in-house promotion. Peter Luxon, former professional soccer player from France, he's been promoted to the head coach here in Dallas. I watched 2 of his interviews and read a little bit on one of the FC Dallas blogs. He is making it no secret that he wants to bring an attractive brand of soccer to the FC Dallas fans. And if you watched much FC Dallas in the last couple of years under Nico, it was pretty much the opposite. It was very is it the Argentine league? Is it the Premier League? I don't know what it's called. The top league in Argentine. That's kind of the style that he brought, and it was very not super exciting. I'll just say that. And that wasn't working out. So obviously they've made a change here. Luxon has guaranteed an exciting brand. I think they're going to get a little bit of a new manager boost. They already started to create a little bit more the last 3 home games. As far as XGs, 1.62 against RSL, 1.48 against Austin, and then 2.36 against Houston at home. So those were already improved numbers with Ferreira coming back from injury. That's been a big upgrade. They really needed him out there with Musa. And then, like I said, I think we get a more exciting open game, open style of play from FC Dallas. And neither of these teams are really missing anybody. The only major absence, St. Louis City is going to be without Kybert, who is a starting center back. That's not going to hurt us. Might help us a little bit, actually, as far as goals. And St. Louis City has scored a lot of goals on the road this year. They run the high press and they try to turn you over. And FC Dallas has got a young back line and goalie, and so I think that could potentially create some issues. I think this one gets over 2.5, maybe easily.
Yeah, this was when I looked at. When I looked at it, I did look at the over. I ultimately just held off because of the coaching change. I just want to see how Dallas looks. Like, to want to play, exciting, creative, beautiful attacking football, and then to actually play exciting, creative, beautiful attacking football are two different things, right?
Right.
And so, some of the ingredients are there, right? Like, if you have Ferreira at the 10 and Musa at the 9, like, Musa can score if you can get him the ball. But I want to see what he's going to do first, right? You think of like other people who are going to create on that team, like Areola has not looked great this season. Kamongo has not been good this season. I think you can chalk some of that up to how they play. But these are not necessarily new guys to this squad, right? So like the whole team just hasn't looked great this season. I mean, that's why they are next to last in their conference. So this is one where I lean the over here. I just wanted to see what Dallas does. I do typically like overs with St. Louis. And this is probably something where if Dallas comes out and I like how they look in that first 15, 20 minutes, then yeah, I'll probably tap a live over here.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, look, there's a reason I'm not playing a side here. I think if Dallas comes out and changes their style the way that they say they will, even if they don't execute it perfectly, they're going to be, quite a bit more exposed the other way against a high press St. Louis City team than they would be under Estevez's, tactics, from before. So I think the tactic change hopefully is good here. And I'm not ruling out, a road win for St. Louis either. I think a variety of things could happen here, but I do see goals. So let's hope for a fun one in Frisco. All right. Moving on to the next game in Orlando, and it's Orlando City, the Lions hosting LAFC.
Yeah. So what is there to say about LAFC except that they're on fire right now? So this is a good spot for them even on the road. Orlando are missing 5 guys, which include their goalkeeper Gillespie, their playmaker Facundo Torres, as well as some midfield and defensive depth pieces. LAFC do have guys away too, Christian Oliveira, but Bawanga will be back. He scored international play, and so he looks just to stay in form right now. He's getting hot, just like this LAFC side is. And they've really turned that poor road form around to start the season. I mean, to start the season, there was one point where they were the worst road team in the league. It was bad, but they've turned it around, and now they're in great form, getting a depleted Orlando City side. And then you're making draw no bet playable. So the play for me here is going to be LAFC draw no bet at -110, or what is it, 108 even, -108, versus, like I said, a depleted Orlando side who has not looked good this season. It's just, I'm playing it safe with it being the international window. I'm not going to take that money line or anything like that. I do expect LAFC to win here, but I'm able to get the draw no bet here at a really playable price.
Did you mention the absentees for LAFC?
Yeah, Christian Oliveira is the big one. Like that, like Tillman's on the US team, but they can fill out that midfield more. Oliveira and that speed is what they're going to miss more than Tillman in the middle.
So Bouanga will be back from Africa?
Yeah. There's no they got no games. There's no tournament.
Okay. That's just double checking. Yeah, I mean, Orlando's missing a ton of guys here. They have been a mess all season. I have no issue with this play. Like you said, LAFC has been on fire. They look like a team that is peaking. And, kind of on another note, this is a team that, with kind of how open the West has been, you throw Giroud in there, and these guys are going to be really scary. I mean, that's a team that's going to be fun to back for a while. But
Yeah,
I like it.
I think I tweeted it out. Like if you were using Inter Miami as like a parlay piece, like through this first half of the season,
Yeah.
during this international break where Miami have players away, I think you can just pivot LAFC into that parlay leg, like because they have an easy schedule coming up.
An easy schedule, and they are, again, they're peaking right now. They're in great form, and they're really starting to gel. When is Giroud officially stepping in the building?
I mean, he can come in July, but of course that's League's Cup, so you won't
Yeah.
actually see him in league play until August. And then I'm sure he's going to play in Euro, so I'm sure they're going to do like the Messi deal where they gave Messi some time off. Like Messi didn't debut right when he could have. It was
Right.
into League's Cup a little bit before he came out. So
Yeah.
I would expect a similar situation with Giroud,
Yeah. By the way,
considering he's not going to get an off season.
right. Yeah. By the way, we will be doing a Leagues Cup special edition coverage once again. That was a blast last year. I didn't really know what to expect necessarily from Leagues Cup, but man, that was a lot of fun. So we'll definitely be doing that again. All right, on to the next. All righty, this is mine. My second play of the show. Seattle Sounders going to be hosting Minnesota United. These are two teams I haven't gotten right all season, just to be honest. Seattle let me down early. Minnesota got me at least once, maybe a couple of times, depending on how you look at it. So hopefully a get right spot for me. Hopefully a get right spot for Seattle, who has been abysmal at home. This is a team that's only won one of their 7 home games at Lumen Field, which is wild for Seattle, right? Because this has been such a sanctuary, such a castle in Seattle for the Sounders. Obviously, this is a little bit different of a year. Seattle looks a little bit different. They are aging, but given the absentees here for Minnesota, here's who's missing for Minnesota. I'll just go down the list. Starters: Arriaga, Harvey in the midfield, Ludd in the midfield. They're going to be without Tanny and Pookie at striker. So basically number 1 and 2 starting strikers gone. I'm assuming they'll probably try to throw Adebayo Smith in there, he's like a career USL championship level striker, and never really did too much in the USL. So like, I'm not super afraid of Adebayo Smith getting the start if that's who ends up going. And then they've also got injuries. DJ Taylor, Fragapane, Caden Clark, they're all out. And then Rosales is also going to be gone. So, and then St. Clair, starting goalkeeper. They're missing a ton of guys, and they got to go. We talk about it all the time too, with the strength of the West Coast, the strength of home field advantage and the West Coast and Major League Soccer might be the biggest home field advantage in any sports league in the world. It's wild. So I'm going to be backing the Sounders here to get right at home on the money line. Minus 140. That was on Caesars right before we jumped on here. I checked some prices, so that's available domestically, also available offshore, similar prices. But yeah, look, I'm not in love with the Sounders. I just think this is a spot play, and let's see if we can get a layup here.
Yeah, that it is. This is solely because it's hard to trust the Sounders. I think you're better off betting a red card than anything else, just because that's all they seem to know how to do. And when they get a red card, you can bet them to drop points. Like it's going to happen without fail. It's a lot of juice to eat for the home side. So with that, and given just my distrust of this team in general, it is a tough play to swallow. That doesn't make it the wrong play. I I was on Dallas last week with Minnesota having this pretty much the same scenario of guys they're missing. And I mean, it's ultimately the game that got Nico fired. So because that was pretty much a must win with the kind of advantage you have. I mean, that second half, toward the last 20 minutes of the second half, it was a MLS Next Pro side that was out there for Minnesota.
Yep,
Like they had used all their subs and brought in all the kiddos just to try to hold on.
They were at home, though.
Huh?
They were at home, though, right?
Oh, that don't mean nothing. Not against an MLS Next Pro side. Like that was a game Dallas had to win. Had to win. Clearly, because like I said, it cost them their coach. Seattle is the play here. Like this is the side you want to be on. Man, that is a tough line to swallow. Just given what Seattle has done like through the last 7 games, with just it seems like a red card every game. And then so we'll see. I mean, it's a good spot. It is a good spot to turn it around, right? Like to actually get right. Really lean into that home field advantage, which they haven't, used successfully all season yet. But man, that is some juice.
It is some juice, but I would be willing to wager on top of this wager that I'm already, have money on, that this line closes much more expensive than -140. I would feel.
I would agree with that. It's already moved. I mean, it's moved quite a bit since it opened.
Yeah, I think it opened like -120-ish. So I think it continues to move. And yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you with pretty much everything you said. But sometimes you got to play the spot, right? So that's what we're doing here. All righty. On to our next one. We're going to keep things rolling. And LA Galaxy at home against Sporting KC. Any major absentees here?
Neil, but he should be back. He was with the under 23s. So I don't actually expect anyone to really be missing. Sporting KC is missing some guys to injury, but not to international play. And I honestly don't see how Sporting KC get better until Peter Vermees is gone. They won their last game versus Seattle. We just talked about Seattle. Seattle shot themselves in the foot with another red card, allowing KC to score a late winner. But again, we're looking at 2 defenses in the top 9 regarding worst expected goals against. And then you get the Galaxy attack, which we've talked about, right? Like they're the second best in the league right now in terms of expected goals. So I'm willing to pay some juice here for the over 3 is what I'm going to hit. I do want that push protection with the over 3. I don't want the 3.25. There's absolutely a world where this ends 2-1, 3-0, something like that. But this total of over 3 has pushed or better in 13 of Kansas City's last 14 league games. So it's just kind of an incredible stat. So when you're giving me the Galaxy's defensive issues plus that attack, yeah, there's no way I'm not playing this. International window still can be a little funky, which is why I'm only going to do 1 unit here at that juice. But yes, over 3, probably my favorite play of the weekend.
Is Paintsill is out long term, right?
I don't expect Paintsill in this game.
Okay. Yeah. Man, the Kansas City defensive stats are woeful. They've been really bad on the road here. Still, even without Paintsill, loaded LA Galaxy attack. Yeah, I mean this has been. I think. Let me look at the schedule real quick. I felt like there was a little bit of a dip for Galaxy on totals, but really not much. I mean, like there's 4 goals, 4 goals, 3 goals, 4 goals, 3 goals, and then a couple 0-0s mixed in there. But they really haven't slowed down. I mean, this attack still is absurd and will continue to be. Going to be interesting to see once Royce comes in. He is coming to Galaxy, right?
I mean, it's not confirmed, but It looks that way.
How is he going to fit? Like, where's he going to be?
I don't know, man.
Because
I feel like this Royce move is a move for something else. Like something else is coming too. I don't know how this looks once he's here. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, it's like, is he coming in and then like they're selling Peck and then they're bringing in somebody? I mean, it's
I don't. Your problem is not the attack. Like I don't know what this team wants to do other than bring in a name and maybe some leadership, but like what you need is helping that back line. Like,
desperately.
that's your issue. You've got an aggressive midfield where you have Brugman and Puig pushing
Delgado.
up, and that leaves Delgado kind of there. Just Brugman's real aggressive, man. Like he gets out of position all the time. And you've got Delgado there trying to pick up the slack. Like you need either a really good holding midfielder, like a really good 8, or I got to fix that back line. Like I don't know. I don't know what this team's doing with these moves. It just, the only thing that makes sense to me is that something else is coming after this. Like that, I don't get it otherwise.
Yeah, like a big name.
Your attack is not the issue, like in any way, shape, or form.
I mean, they'll be fun. They'll be fun to watch, and they'll be fun to continue to bet on. I'll tell you that. But attack's already nuts. So yeah, I'm on board with this one. I couldn't really think of a much better matchup, honestly, than having Sporting KC go here, because they've just been auto goals games that they're involved in. So. All right, on to the next one. This is going to be yours to round out the picks here. And then stick around afterwards, because there's a couple leans I wanted to kind of throw around and do a little lightning round after we finish it here. But yeah, this is your parlay.
Yeah, so I'm going to parlay these two games. I've got Atlanta hosting Houston. We're going to take the under 3.5 in that game. And then we're going to toss it in with RSL double chance or the plus 0.5, however your book lists it, as they travel to Montreal. So just some quick hits here. Giacomakis sold, out, gone. Saba and Sliz are both on international duty. Saba was big for them last game when they played against Inter Miami, basically carried that team. Not going to be there. The defense has been Atlanta's calling card this season, as they're a top 8 defense in terms of expected goals against. For Houston, Carrasquilla is out on international play. This team already had little to no creativity in the side, with the third worst attack in regards to expected goals. So that, for me, this is an easy under 3.5 here as far as a leg to use. You got a lower attack in Atlanta because they're missing some pieces now. But defense has always been what they've leaned on. And then Houston, again, can't create. So I just like how this matches up to get this under 3.5 here. And then RSL, you got Montreal missing a good amount of their midfield talent due to this international window. And Real Salt Lake have been the best roadside in the Western Conference so far this season. So I've got lopsided talent here for a team that knows how to travel, and I can get them at double chance in this parlay to get a decent price here at minus 106. Yeah, I really like this parlay.
Yeah, I like this play a lot. I mean, this is I mean, dare I say, my favorite play of the show. Actually, you talked me into the under here. I like it more than I thought I liked it. Atlanta, they've been surprisingly good defensively this year, and then no Carrasquilla is that's horrible for Houston, because he has been the only creative guy. It's been nice to get Herrera back, but Carrasquilla has been kind of the electricity in that team. If you even want to say that they've had any electricity, because they've been pretty dull. But love the under there. I think that's a really solid look. And obviously, like you said, no Giamakis. He is in Mexico City by now, I'm sure. So will be interesting.
And there's a chance Houston doesn't see Carrasquilla again. Especially if he does well if he does well in this Copa, I think Houston's going to get some offers. The rumors out of Spain just won't go away. So we'll see.
Houston doesn't need to be selling. They need to be buying. No.
Every team is open for business. You gotta. I mean, like, we didn't think Atlanta was going to sell Giacomakis, but I also didn't think they were going to get a $10 million offer, right? Like, so.
But we didn't think they were going
Right.
to suck like this going into the year either.
No, but I think they could have been killing it. And if you give a $10 million offer for Gigi, then you're selling him.
You taking it? No, that's an auto.
So it all depends on the offer, but there's just more smoke around Kariskea. So like in this, we see it every big tournament, right, man? Like if you ball out at a tournament, if you play really well, when there's a ton of eyeballs on you, you're going to help your chances in solidifying a deal.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then your Salt Lake leg here. And I was looking at potentially playing this, Salt Lake straight up. So I have no issue with it at all. They're not missing like anybody for international break. They have almost no absentees, right?
I think it's two under 19 guys, so they don't matter.
Yeah. And man, I don't know if anybody's been hotter than RSL. Their attack has been fantastic. So yeah, I like this one a lot. Montreal, they kind of started the season overachieving, really giving it their all and showing effort and everything. But the talent on that team the results have finally come to fruition based on that team's talent. They're kind of leveling out a little bit back to where we thought they'd be as far as results on the pitch. So yeah, I like this one. This is a great two-teamer and a solid price. Feels comfortable, which scares me, but I do like it quite a bit.
It's okay. I want comfortable during an international window. Like the
Fair
fact
enough.
that we're playing games while players are playing for their nations is silly enough. So let's try to be as comfortable as possible.
Facts. Yeah, that's a good point. All right. Oops, that's a slide from last week. All right. So a couple of games that I want to kind of throw around a little bit that I had written down. And these are just like leans that we can just kind of talk through. The first one is, how do you feel about I know you said Insigne is going to be going, but how do you feel about backing Chicago without Bernadeschi?
There's no chance in hell I back Chicago for anything.
On a double chance?
Nope. Don't get me wrong. I don't want Toronto because I'm not paying that juice with the guys they're missing. But yeah, there is not a chance in the world I back Chicago.
All right, next lean. We can throw that one in the trash. Philadelphia team total over 1.5. It's juicy, but I don't want to back them on the money line because Brujo and I think center back's gone. But
so this is so weird because like the total is still up there, right? The total is in there like Messi's playing,
right?
but he's not. Carranza has still to deal with Feyenoord on a pre-contract agreement. So now Feyenoord's working with Philly to try to get that deal done over the summer instead of having to wait till his contract runs out in the winter. So I think there's a good chance that you don't see Carranza play, right? Like, especially if Feyenoord can get that deal done quickly enough or be close enough to where both sides feel good about it going to be through that. He probably doesn't play. Gazdogs with Hungary. So I don't know where this attack comes from for Philly, right? Like, I don't know who's going to score the goals. I'm not an UA fan. Sullivan is fine. I don't think he's a true forward, right? So like, he's better when I think he's coming out of the midfield. But that's not going to be his role here. Like when they're down forwards, he's always stepped up and been that second 9 or that shadow striker underneath. So this is the one I just ultimately laid off because my lean was the under 3.5, and that was going to be real juicy. And yeah, it's hard with the pieces they're missing. We know that Andre Blake has not been great, right? Like maybe prime Andre Blake is gone. And then Martinez is away on international duty, right? So I looked at this game up and down. There's just so much variance there with the people they're missing and who's going to be able to do what. You want to say, yeah, like it doesn't matter who's starting for Philly. It's Miami's defense. Philly's going to score. I don't trust that, right? Like it's hard. So because the guys you would depend on to score aren't going to be there. Like Philly hasn't looked good since Carranza hasn't been in the lineup. And there's so far nothing that they're going to be able to replace him with quickly. So I'm staying away from Philly right now. And then I don't know what Miami's going to do. And Miami could win this game by 3 goals or could lose this game by 3 goals. Like that's the spectrum we're on with Miami. So that's just not fun to to bet on.
Yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head with the Carranza situation, and that's actually why I brought it up. I wasn't sure what his status was. It's been tricky to find out what's going on. So hopefully, maybe a lineup check, or at worst, maybe we get a decent live bet opportunity.
This would be a spot. I don't have lines for it yet. It's too early in the week, but this would be a spot where I'm looking for to score or assist with either Sullivan or McGlynn. Like those would be the 2 guys I would lean on to kind of step up here and make some plays. So if you can get either one of those at plus money, then I'm more interested, right? Because it is Miami's defense. But I think that's a better way to approach this game if I had to, pull the trigger on something.
All right, last one, just to kind of throw out there. Do we feel like the Revs have actually turned a little bit of a corner?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Yeah. I kind of want
we gotta see what they do in the window. That the winger Barrero, you can tell the injury has affected him mentally. Like he is not driving like he did. Now also it takes you almost a full year to bounce back. That's with playing, right? A full year of playing to really bounce back from destroying your knee. So, but you can just see it. Like he's tentative. There's some caution there, and this dude used to drive at people with his pure speed. So he's not really a benefit or a help right now. And no, like all the numbers say they're still terrible. So yeah, there's no way I would be backing the Revs here in any way. I don't love the Whitecaps in the sense that there's just a clear talent gap there, right? Like I think they have a system. I think they've got some pieces, but they don't have the piece, right? You got to put more around Gold to get the most out of him and that team, especially when Brian White isn't overachieving like he was last season. So yeah, that's another one where I just probably going to stay away. Some spots I was looking at is I would love to be able to get both teams to score in New York City and Columbus Crew live. It's juiced right now.
The Friday game.
The Friday game live. I would like to be able to hit both teams to score there. It's at Yankee Stadium. New York's dominated when they're at home as far as offensively. But I think coming out of this international break, I think Crew are going to take one game and really try to, get all the gears right. And then they are going to push. And I think you could see them win most of their games the rest of the season. Now that Champions Cup's out of the way, all of that stuff, this team is too good to be where they are in the standings right now. So I expect their offense to come along.
I have one. I'm not playing it pregame. There's no way I'm paying minus 155, minus 160 for the Rapids at home, maybe ever. But I think Austin is about to skid. And I mean, I think they're about to go on a nasty, nasty skid. They're also going to be without 2 center backs for this one. They are going to be without Cascante with Costa Rica and the guy from Finland. So,
and three is a big number for Colorado at home.
I agree, but we saw it last week, right, with Austin. Well, it actually started at home against Portland, and I was at that game. The air has been let out a little bit for this Austin team, and you can see it on, body language, the whole thing. The players aren't really believing so much right now. And Driussi is a little bit off form. And if he's not just supermaning you to results, it's just not going to happen. I mean, we saw the wheels totally fall off in Utah. Colorado they don't have any real key absentees for this one. I'm going to say, if I can get the Rapids live minus 110-ish, 15, 20 minutes into the game, maybe minus 125 even. And if they're looking good, dude, I'm doing it, because Austin, they were really sitting back and like parking the bus on the road at the beginning of the year, and that was working. That's not really working anymore. They don't have any confidence. They look like they don't even know what their identity is. They look like a mess. I think they're going to go on a nasty skid.
Well, we've said that the underlying numbers said they were a mess.
Yes,
it said they've been a mess all season.
But the players aren't even believing right now.
Man, I still think 3 is high for a total in Colorado. Like, we used to play the under 3.5 parlayed religiously.
Yes.
We've reined that in because of so much turnover on this team over the offseason. So it is quite a different Colorado, but still that's a high total. Another spot I'm looking at is, if I haven't got any updates on Benteke, right, since he left injured. I'm assuming he's not playing. If somehow he starts, I think you see an uptick on this total in Charlotte, and I want to hit that under, especially if I can get it closer to an under 3.
Yeah,
with Charlotte hosting DC United. If he starts, there's no way he's 100%. And so, yeah, that's a spot I want to target for an under.
Man, Charlotte might be a sneaky team to get some futures on. I'm not saying they're going to win the whole thing.
If you watch the future show, you got them top 9 at plus money. Like,
that's true.
Just to make the playoffs at plus money.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites. But is it Ream that's coming over?
Potentially. Like, nothing's done. Nothing's done. But he would be under the TAM threshold, even if they just paid him what he made at Fulham last season. So, it's a good opportunity if they can get that across the line. Cool.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at MLSLIVE Podcast, and we'll run through these one more time. New York Red Bull and Nashville under 2.5 minus 112. Then we've got the over in FC Dallas and St. Louis City, over 2.5 minus 132. LAFC pick'em or draw no bet. Whatever your book calls it, it's the same thing. Sounders on the money line. I still think that price is probably available. At least, I mean, I've got minus 145 in front of my face right now offshore. And that was from Caesars, like I said. All right. And then we got LA Galaxy and Sporting KC over 3, minus 135, but you got your push protection there. And then to round it out, we've got Atlanta and Houston under 3.5 goals plus RSL double chance, and that gets you to a minus 106. And that'll do it. So thanks for everybody tuning in early in the week. We love to see you guys in the comments. Love to see y'all on Twitter, anywhere. We really appreciate everybody that tunes in. Hoping for another good weekend. We are planning to do a Copa America preview next week. The first game of Copa America is going to be the 20th, which I think is next Thursday. So Garrett and I will discuss scheduling and all that good stuff and see if we can make it fit. Supposed to have another special guest come on with us for that one. So, and we'll do our MLS show, of course. We'll squeeze both of those in for you guys next week. Yeah, going to be a little doubleheader, a little extra homework for the boys, but we'll figure it out. But anything, Garrett?
No, as always, thank you so much for the support. We really do love it. And best of luck on all your bets this weekend.
See you guys next week.